but your piece of artwork is to stay here.
Right.
And to know that you sponsored that wall for that artist and, left your mark in the community with this festival, just crossing my fingers and toes. This is, one of many that will come, and we'll have the opportunities for that. So by showing your sponsorship and showing that community pride would be amazing. And you can go right back to that link that Kim gave you at brushtheblock.com and click on our sponsorship opportunities and read all the information. And also look at the mural locations, and you will see the 3 locations that still need to be sponsored.
Right, exactly. Mm-hmm. And we have one more. We have an upcoming opportunity during May's Art Hop. Can you talk a little bit about that to learn more about the festival?
Yeah, so May 2nd is our next Art Hop. It'll be 5 to 8 p.m. that evening, all over the place downtown. But we are also having a press conference for the Mural Festival. That will be happening in the Haymarket District, which is right there behind like the WL Social House and TreyStar. If you haven't been back there, it's a really cool spot. So, follow, there's those lights in the little alley that you can go back there. We'll have music. It's an opportunity to ask questions and listen about all the things of the Mural Festival. And I'm delighted that we're able to celebrate that for our hop. It's combine the two.
Right. Well, thanks to both of you this morning. I've been talking with Rebecca Kick, the Deputy City Manager for Kalamazoo, and Kim Shaw, the Mural Festival Director for Brush the Block. And you can get more information at brushtheblock.com, and you can visit us right back here next Saturday. We'll see you then.
Why support the Arts Council of Greater Kalamazoo? Here are 5 powerful reasons.
Boost local creativity. Your donation helps local artists thrive and share their talents with the community.
Support education. The Arts Council provides art programs that inspire and educate students of all ages.
To revitalize our city, your gift helps transform Kalamazoo into a vibrant cultural hub that attracts visitors and businesses alike.
Build stronger communities. Art brings people together, fostering connection and understanding across diverse groups.
And to leave a lasting impact. Your contribution creates opportunities for future generations to experience the magic of the arts.
The Arts Council of Greater Kalamazoo was founded in 1966 with a grant from the National Endowment for the Arts. They encourage you to give today and support the arts in our community. Strengthen Kalamazoo. To learn more or to donate, please visit kalamazooarts.org. That's kalamazooarts.org.
Check of sports at 8:32. The Tigers and Royals went at it last night at Comerica Park, and Andy Ibanez.
Strike one, fly ball, left field. Hit a ton, deep to left. Gone! Andy Ibanez with number 2 over the visiting bullpen in left. Tigers take a 2-1 lead in the 4th.
And they went on to win 7-3. Game 3 of 4 is this afternoon at Comerica Park. Tigers working on another sweep. 12:45 pregame here on WKZO. The wind was blowing out at Wrigley Field yesterday, which led to one of the wildest games that you may ever see, unless you remember the 23-22 Phillies-Cubs game back in 1979. The Cubs led the Diamondbacks 7-1 after 7 innings, but Arizona scored 10 runs in the top of the 8th, but the Cubs answered with 6 of their own in the bottom of the 8th and ended up winning 13-11. And like I said, that's just one of the wildest games you're ever going to see, except maybe the 23-22 one. Bronco baseball had a comeback of their own, scoring 6 runs in the ninth inning in Toledo, but the Rockets scored twice in the bottom of the 9th to walk off Western Michigan 9-8. Bronco softball lost to Akron 12-3. The Pistons and the Knicks will kick off their first round NBA playoff series tonight in New York, 6 o'clock tip. Justin Thomas has a 2-shot lead going into the 3rd round of the RBC Heritage Classic at Hilton Head. And that is a look at a busy sports calendar.
Gradually decreasing clouds today. Highs will land in the mid-50s, and by this afternoon to evening, we could even see a few breaks in the cloud cover, which means some chances at sunshine. Tonight, mostly clear, lows near 38. Sunday, starting with sunshine for your sunrise. We'll see increasing clouds, especially through the morning, and by the afternoon, we could start to see a few rain showers as rain moves in from the south. Showers and storms will continue overnight into Monday. Tracking Southwest Michigan's weather, I'm Storm Teammate Chief Meteorologist Ellen Baca.
Clouds with fog in spots, 46 in Kalamazoo, but the wind chill at 41 at 590 and 106.9 FM, WKZO. And good morning and welcome to Nature Watch. Nature Watch is sponsored by Waddell's Nursery, Floral, Garden, and Bird Center at the corner of 12th Street and Millam Road. And now your host of Nature Watch, it's Gary Miller.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing, sir?
Well, a little cooler today than yesterday, but yesterday was sort of an anomaly. Almost too warm. Well, the sunshine was nice when it was around. It started clouding up later in the day.
Yeah, you were giving me the look while I was giving the temperature a couple minutes ago. Like
my look was as you mentioned the wind chill, and we shouldn't be talking about wind chill in the middle or end of April.
But I just did.
I know. It's Michigan.
What can you do?
So if we're on that roller coaster of temperatures and weather in Michigan, we went over the top of the big hill yesterday. And we're going down the hill, so everybody raise their arms and scream in the radio. So,
ow!
Just saying.
That's so loud.
But look at the forecast. This next week it's going to climb up, and next weekend's going to be warm again.
Yeah,
so,
there are some 70s in our future, in our immediate future. So we'll take that.
And actually, looking at the extended forecast, it looks like, and I'm going to knock on wood, we might be past frosts now. It's Michigan. We get that late frost. So we got a chance of late frost almost in the middle of May.
Right.
But next couple of weeks, the lows, the coolest I saw was about 38 or 40 degrees. Most times it's warmer than that.
Yeah, I noticed MDOT has lifted most of its state restrictions as far as
I know the county did
seasonal
several
weight
weeks
goes.
ago already. So Kalamazoo County did. So
yes. Up
Yes.
north though, in the UP, I believe they still have the frost laws going.
I would guess so. And you get on the northern lower peninsula and up into the upper peninsula, they're still doing ice storm cleanup. They'll be doing that for months.
I
just
feel
horrendous photos up there.
I feel so bad for
those
people up there.
It's just about as bad as a tornado, really, just with the devastation that they have. And
Mackinac Island is a mess. They have the downtown cleared out, but that's pretty much it.
But just in the lower peninsula up near the tip, up near Mackinac City and that, and the south, some of those photos. Oh my goodness, trees all gone. Trunk here and there. So
memories of the 1980 tornado in Bronson Park, which used to be just littered. I mean, just had trees everywhere, and they were taken out.
Or the tornado almost a year ago.
Yeah, down in Portage, right?
In Portage. So yes. Some neat activity this week. The birds are moving closer. The hummingbirds are getting a little closer. There's a couple that are almost up by the state line. Most of them are in Kentucky and just into southern Ohio and Indiana, the first big wave. So with this warmer weather this next week, we might be seeing some within the week here.
Okay.
I thought I said that a week ago, but the little cool weather, they took a little break and decided to wait a little bit to come north. But we might see hummingbirds within the week here.
Okay.
And surprisingly, Baltimore Orioles. I had checked here, and the Baltimore Orioles were pretty well just down in Central America and slowly coming this way. And lo and behold, there's a couple of scouts that have moved up here. They're very near southwest Michigan. There was a sighting just across the line in Indiana this last week. So we'll see. And there was a reported sighting. I can't remember if that one was confirmed or not over along the lake shore here in Michigan, but that was only one, and might have been a little anomaly or something like that. Really early scout. The swallows are back though. At least the initial scouts for the swallows. I got a barn swallow that has been in my barn and came. First we saw it was yesterday, and actually I've got a pair of tree swallows that are back, and they were actually hanging around one of the bluebird nests or bluebird houses. And tree swallows and bluebirds use the same diameter opening on the houses. So I've had tree swallows use bluebird houses before to nest in, which is neat because they eat more insects too.
Right, there you go.
and this time of year, when it's starting getting warm, we got to start thinking about those little buzzing insects that tend to bite us and are very annoying when it gets dark. And
now I'm giving you that look.
Okay, got to think about it. It's getting warm. We're going to have them. That's Michigan. The moisture tends to drive more of them, but we need moisture. I was looking at the drought monitor, and we're still doing okay here, but that swath that comes down through the center of the lower peninsula enlarged this last week. We're getting on the dry side again here, so we do need that rain, that moisture. Not a lot of rain this next week predicted, but we need everything we can get because we want to keep getting that moisture to get that soil moisture replenished. Definitely need it.
Right.
So the swallows are neat to see a few of them. I always have those one or two scouts that come back, or the barn swallows, and then the rest of them come back usually within a week or a week and a half or so. So we should start seeing a lot of activity. And I know they were flying up quite high to try to find a few insects buzzing around with the warmth yesterday. They could obviously find some insects buzzing around, but they were up in the air a little ways. Typically, barn swallows especially tend to hover around the ground and stir up the insects on the ground, but there's not a lot of activity down low. So they had to do a little hunting for food.
Ah, there you go. Okay, we have a gift card to give away.
Yes, we do.
Before we go any further, $20 gift card. Gary brings in a trivia question, and the first person that answers it wins a $20 gift card to Waddell's. 269-382-4280. Just a friendly reminder, if you have won from us in the last 30 days, let's let somebody else enjoy. Right?
So this is a lob one again this morning. I felt generous this morning. So I think it's a lob one anyway.
Okay.
So what is the most common wren species in Michigan? You got a 1 in 5 chance. There's a hint. So
okay, that I can't help you there. I do not know about wrens.
So what is the most common species of wren in Michigan?
269-382-4280. First correct answer will win a $20 gift card as we wait for the phones to light up.
Other migration monarchs are actually up into southern Missouri and Tennessee, a few of them. So we're going to start seeing monarchs. So we'll keep getting warm and we're weeks away from that. I was looking at the rare bird alert, and we had something really unusual this last week. A summer tanager was confirmed sighted in Marquette.
No.
Summer tanagers nest south of us. So last week, there was a summer tanager. It might have got blown up there by a storm or something, but it was up in Marquette, confirmed sighting, way out of its territory.
Wow.
Maybe it was on vacation going north. I don't know. So Jim says we got a caller in.
No, usually when we vacation in the UP, at least ones that are, I'm not going to say smart because, if you want to stay away from the cold, you go in the summer.
Well, tanagers eat insects, and so they, I don't know what they're doing up in Marquette because I doubt there's very much insect activity.
Hey, if we can have mosquitoes here, we can have mosquitoes up there. That's all I'm saying. Good morning, WKZL. Who's this?
Carolyn.
Carolyn, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Want to take a stab at our question?
Yeah, I'll say house wren.
That is correct. So I told you I had one in 5 chance. So.
There you go. And she didn't need the others. What are the others just real quick?
So the northern house wren is the most common. The other species in Michigan are the Carolina wren, the sedge wren, the marsh wren, and the winter wren. And they all vary a little bit in size. Probably the biggest difference, most common being the house wren. Their houses, they need an inch diameter opening on that birdhouse. If you have a house for a Carolina wren, they need an 1.25 inches. So most people use that smaller inch opening because when you get that 1.25 inches opening, it attracts some other birds that you don't want nesting in there. So, and the Carolina wrens are not near as numerous as the house wrens are.
Oh, there you go. Carolyn, you're our big winner. Can you hold on the line for a moment? And I need to get some information from you to send you a gift card.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thanks. Hang on there, Carolyn. I'll be right back with you on the break. And speaking of the break, let's do it right now. More Nature Watch in just a moment here on WKZO.
This year is Waddell's 79th year serving Southwest Michigan, and the Waddell family wants to thank you for making Waddell's your first choice for trees, lawn seed, tools, and all your garden needs. Come check out the truckloads of beautiful plants, garden decor, and plant care items that are arriving daily. The long-awaited spring planting season has finally arrived. Pansy and primrose are both cool weather beauties that bloom in such bright colors you might not think they're real. It's also time to plant perennial helleborus plants. Plant helleborus in a shady spot now and enjoy their blooms for weeks. A sure sign of spring is the bright yellow forsythia blooming. This week, all 6 varieties of forsythia shrubs, buy one, get one, 50% off. Another early spring favorite is blooming redbud trees. Save $40 on 5 to 6 foot tall clump redbud trees, now on sale for $149.88. Stop in today to visit with a plant specialist at Waddell's Nursery Florist and Garden Center, located on Texas Drive at the corner of Milam and 12th Street.
It's time to get social.
Facebook. I use it for just about everything.
Follow us on Twitter and Facebook at WKZO Radio.
8:45, Carolyn in Kalamazoo, our big winner of a $20 gift card to Waddell's, as Nature Watch continues with Gary Miller. And it would help if I turned your mic on.
Oh, that would help, I guess. Yeah, might sound like I'm in the distance of it, just picking up on your mic.
Yeah.
So the bluebirds and birds and wrens will be back here shortly. There's been a few wrens around already they're actually building their nests now, are looking very closely here. So if you haven't got those bird houses out yet and you need some more, Waddell's actually has a special going on bird houses. If you have those existing houses and you need to do a little renovation on them with a brass plate to make sure that opening stays the same size and some other bird doesn't come in and make that opening larger.
Yeah.
They have little brass plates that you can put on those bird houses for wrens and bluebird houses, and they're sized appropriately. Those work great to keep the sparrows, and sometimes starlings will even try to make those holes larger. So keep those openings sized for the bluebirds or the wrens. The bluebirds also, we have it's called a bird protector, and actually it looks like a tube that you actually mount on the opening. And so the bluebird can go in and out, but it's just the same diameter, that 1.5 inch diameter, and it prevents predators or bigger birds from reaching into the nest and getting those little birds in there. So it helps keep that nest, those nestlings safe. And we have a new product in this year called a nest riser. So it's a little riser you can put at the bottom of the birdhouse, and then actually so it keeps that material up off the bottom. It helps keep the bottom of the birdhouse drier, which keeps the birds healthier. And my comment was that they will put less material in there to build their nest up, so less to clean out every year.
That's logic. I like that.
So, neat little product, a little mesh, pretty neat size for putting in those bluebird houses. So a neat product. Nest Lift, that's actually what it's called, Nest Lift. The Bird Guardian is actually that tube that helps protect those bluebird houses. So we got some neat holidays coming up. We got Earth Day coming up on the 22nd next week.
I was going to mention that, but I figured you were going to cross that.
Oh,
bridge.
yeah. Got an Earth Day. We actually got a big week this week. We got Earth Day on the 22nd, and that's actually a nice day for people to actually take time out of their lives to consider the impact that humanity has on the environment and for taking steps to minimize those impacts. And it helps us live healthier and in tune with nature. And then on the 25th, next Friday, is Arbor Day. And so we got both those holidays this next week. Holiday is celebrated to celebrate the trees, and most times people do that. They do a celebration, they plant trees and that. So some neat activities. Watch Waddell's ads, because we'll have check our website out. We'll usually have a little special for Arbor Day and Earth Day this next week.
Oh, there you go.
But tree is neat to see. National Arbor Day Foundation's been around for a long time, and they have this neat little gift that they give you, or you can if you join them. Typically, you get these 10 little seedlings you can plant in your yard. I did that 33 years ago, and those plants, most of them are still there, and they're very mature, and the birds love them. So it's something fun to do. Next Saturday, just so you can get ready for next Saturday, is National Go Birding Day. So a good day it looks like the weather's going to be warmer, so go out and do some bird watching. And it's actually an activity that's observed by millions of people around the world, so it's something fun to do. There are 10,000 plus bird species in the world, so enjoy some of those species that you see around your yard and neighborhood. Grab a pair of binoculars if you have them, even just a naked eye, and if you have the Merlin app on your phone, you can do sound ID. So if you hear those birds singing but you don't see them, that's actually fun to just sit out there and have that going and watch and see what birds are singing around you. Sometimes the Merlin app will pick up bird sounds that you don't hear, but like, oh, there's birds. It's in a distance or somewhere, but it's close enough it's picking it up. So it's actually fun to watch. And, oh, I didn't know that bird was here. Some neat, interesting facts about birds. They had this about the National Go Birding Day, so I had to share these. The chicken is the closest living relative to the T-Rex dinosaur.
Really?
Just, when you're enjoying, if you're having chicken for dinner tomorrow, you can share that tidbit with everybody. Hey, this is the closest living relative, or was the closest living relative to the T-Rex. Just saying.
Tastes like dinosaur.
Yes.
Yeah, no.
People that have birds for pets or indoor the house, approximately 33% of them turn on a radio for the bird to listen to when they leave the house.
See, they're smart.
Yeah, so they listen to the radio. Maybe the birds sing along if it has music in the station. Just saying.
Love it.
The scientists believe that the goose was the first bird to be domesticated by humans. And interesting with chickens, so if you have chickens, here's a good exercise for you, a little hobby. You can start trying to listen for all the different sounds. Chickens can make over 200 different sounds to communicate with one another. Sounds surprising. And so if you have a flock of chickens in your backyard, might be something to do on gosh, I'm bored, or the kids get bored. Hey, go out and see how many sounds you can hear.
Right. Yeah.
And the penguin is the only bird that can swim but can't fly. So we some neat tidbits about birds. So last Saturday, during the exciting final of the Frozen Four National Hockey Game, in the first period, I had to miss part of it. And the reason I missed part of the first period is my wife says, "Oh my gosh, you got to come look. We had 2 pileated woodpeckers out on the bird feeder and on the tree around the bird feeders. And then they flew around the house and they landed a couple other locations." I'm like, "Oh my goodness, a pair of them. Haven't seen them. I've heard them. I heard them down the river that's near my house. I usually hear them down in the woods down there, but I don't see them very often. Just for the pair of them, I think they were scouting out for a nesting location. Have not seen them since, so we'll see. They decide to come up and maybe nest near the house or so. But that's exciting. And you forget until you see them again how big those birds are. Oh my goodness, just a big woodpecker. So I missed a little bit of the game. I had the DVR going too, so I could go back and watch it. But, so exciting game though last week.
Oh man, that was it took me about 3 days to recover. That's man, it ranks up right up there with the 2016 Cubs World Series title.
Yeah.
Okay.
So a couple other events this next week. Today actually, Kellenberg Sanctuary has free admission in celebration of Earth Day. And I know they're a little early, but they like to do their celebrations on the weekend so more people can participate. Kalamazoo Nature Center has free admission today as the first day of National Park Week this next week. So something fun to do. And tonight, doesn't look too promising for the weather, but the Kalamazoo Astronomical Society has another public observing session, so we might have that break in the clouds and be able to see.
Ellen sitting in this morning, and I heard her on the forecast mention that skies will clear. We could see some sunshine later on, and she did say clear skies tonight.
So it depends on when those clouds roll in, because it's going to get cloudy overnight. By the morning, we'll have clouds again, but or maybe so. Right now, with the weather patterns, they don't know exactly what's going to happen. They're taking the best, I must say, very educated guess. And
let's just say you have a 50% chance.
Yes.
Is that fair?
So
okay.
Check. Before you go out to that, that does run from 8 to 11 tonight at the Nature Center. Check their website after 6. Typically, they will have a posting if they're going to postpone that because of the clouds.
Right.
Monday, there's a Botanical Society, Michigan Botanical Society's Southwestern chapter has their monthly meeting, and I mentioned that last week. Ashley Colwick from the Michigan Natural Features Inventory is going to be talking about Mitchell's satyr conservation. The Mitchell's satyr is a butterfly, so endangered butterfly. Talk to join in. You can check out their website. Just Google Michigan Botanical Society and go to the Southwestern chapter calendar. Lots of activity. Next. A week from Monday, the Audubon Society of Kalamazoo has their monthly meeting, and they're going to be talking about oak savanna restoration in the Allegan State Game Area. Don Poppy is a wildlife biologist with the DNR, and he's going to talk about some of their restoration and plans for keeping some of those oak savanna complexes, because they're a unique entity here in the environment here in Michigan. So something fun to do. And you can check that out on the Audubon Society Kalamazoo's website. That is also available via Zoom, so if you can't make it in person, and so you can maybe attend that via Zoom. So some neat activities this next week. with the warmth, we're going to start seeing just plants just explode. We saw some of that this week already. The leaves keep coming out, and a couple mornings they were going, we should have stayed a little tighter in our buds because it was cold. But I think we'll start seeing them move pretty good. We keep getting some moisture. Even that little bit of dampness we had overnight here, not really a whole lot of rain, that helps. All that little moisture helps those plants in that. So really get things going here. The house wren, interestingly, there's a northern house wren and a southern house wren. And 2024, so just last year, ornithologists split the house wren, which ranges from Canada to the southern tip of South America, into two widespread species. So the northern house wren and the southern house wren, and then there's actually 5 Caribbean endemic species. So they're very localized in some of the islands. Northern house wrens nest inside tree holes and nest boxes. So you got that little house, birdhouse out there for the wrens. Fantastic to do. When you hear those little birds singing, and they're such a small bird, they're chickadee size or a little bit smaller. They are very, very loud birds for the size that they have. So it's fun to hear them sing. So one of the things that's interesting with house wrens, as the season progresses and they nest, they pack those little birdhouses full of twigs for to make their nest. I mean, you can't see how they could put any more twigs in there because they just cram it full. Typically, mites and other parasites get into those nests and can affect the nestlings. So to fight that, wrens actually find spider egg sacs and put them into the birdhouse when they're building their nest and the materials. And they've actually done studies on this, so when the spiders hatched, they help the wrens by devouring the nest parasites. So a neat way that nature cooperates with each other to keep themselves healthy. A house wren weighs about as much as 2 quarters. So think of how light 2 quarters are. That's the weight of a house wren. Not very heavy. But they're actually very fierce competitors despite their size. They will harass and peck at much larger birds, sometimes dragging eggs and young out of the nest site that they want, even occasionally killing adult birds. In some areas, they are the main source of nest failure for bluebirds, tree swallows, prothonotary warblers, and chickadees. So the temperature inside the house is also very important. So typically you want to have that birdhouse mounted where it's not going to get extremely hot via sunlight. Temperatures inside the nest box can be critical to survival for those wren nestlings and the eggs. If you have a sun-drenched nest box that warms above about 106 degrees Fahrenheit for an hour, the eggs will begin to die. So you need to make sure you have that in that sort of shaded area so those stay nice and on the cooler side. However, if we get a cold snap and the nest gets chilled below about 65 degrees Fahrenheit for more than a day, it can also start dooming the eggs. So they don't lay their eggs until it looks like it's going to stay warm enough. But we want to have. I know my parents always put a wren house out too, and my dad had grown up with wrens in the yard, and so we always had that in our front yard where we had a lot of big shady maple trees, and they had shade and a little morning sun on the wren house, and then in the shade rest of the day.
Oh, there you go.
So if you have a chance, get outside and enjoy the outdoors. If you have comments or you see something unique during the week, you can email me at naturewatch@wadells.com. And
or you could just go visit him in the store.
Or you come visit me in the store.
Yeah, there you go. All right, Gary. Well, thank you so much. And thank you for listening to this edition of Nature Watch. Tune in each Saturday morning at 8:30 for Nature Watch. Brought to you by Waddell's Nursery, Floral, Garden, and Bird Center at the corner of 12th Street and Millam Road. Up next, it's CBS and local news, and then Andy Waddell is in for his edition of Over the Garden Fence. That's all on the way on 590 and 106.9 FM, WKZO.
Everything Kalamazoo and the best news talk too. 590 and 106.9 FM,